but I think means it hasn't been long enough that I was a researcher and I became a faculty. So I kind of I still have those remembrance of all those feelings, when you are a student, when you are struggling to get job. Not exactly struggling, but still means it depends who defines how the struggling is. But as because we are all in India, so the biggest part, which is also a benefit as well as a drawback sometimes, is that we have age limits for everything, isn't it? Like age limit for joining school, age limit for exams, and age limit for job applications. So by the age like you approach 35, 40, like the number of jobs for which you are eligible, especially government jobs, it becomes lesser and lesser, and you have to acquire so many different kinds of skill sets to fit in. And sometimes, despite that, you keep on searching, right? So before going into the detail of my career and giving you any kind of input regarding this, I would say that perseverance, apart from hard work, is the main ingredient which is required to succeed. You have to keep on increasing your skill set and working every single day uh, to achieve your goal, where you can sit and say that I'm happy where I am. Okay, so that's what it is. Um, that journey can be like anything, but sometimes it's smooth, sometimes it has some challenges, and everyone, when they attain the success, they have a story to tell. That is everybody's case. All our stories will be different, but it's definitely a guarantee that we will have different success stories or even failure stories to actually share. So about my career, I am agricultural engineer. I did it from OUAT, Bhubaneswar, and then I joined the AGFE department in IIT Kharagpur, and there I graduated and take in post-harvest engineering. Right now, they have merged dairy and post-harvest together, and they call it food engineering. Um, like it was before that, then they had divided, and now they have merged together. So that's how like the degree names also varies. This information I gave because sometimes some certain degrees you heard about that this guy had graduated with this degree, and when you go on the internet and search for that degree program in that particular university, you don't find it. It might have been renamed. That happens in emerging engineering, which are not core. There, the changes and update regarding the name of the department and all, merging and then dividing again into different departments happens quite a lot. So, but our department has remained same. Agricultural engineering is known as agricultural engineering, I think, since last 60 years. Um, it has evolved quite a lot in different other places other than India, as the name has changed, but the study is kind of same. So that's there. And then I did my PhD at McGill in bioresource engineering. It was previously known as agricultural engineering department. So then I moved on to Memorial University of Newfoundland. It's also in Canada. There in Marine Research Institute, I worked with a team on a postdoc project for producing biodiesel from fish oil, because like it's one of the major natural resources which they have, wood, oil, and then fishery. It's main there in Newfoundland. It's a patch of land which is different, like a bit far away from mainland Canada. So it's mainly known as Labrador and Newfoundland, that province. Okay. And I had, like I was working as a consultant for them after that to about more than 2 years. But I had moved on to France after that, and from there, I moved to India and I worked with CSIR, few institutes. One was Central Leather Research Institute, which is in Chennai. And then I worked with IMMT, Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, which is in Bhubaneswar. So there I actually was working with like their biotechnology department, here environmental engineering. I was working on developing biopolymers from natural resources, mainly waste products from there, using microorganisms to grow them and extract biopolymers. So that was like the gist of my project. And after that, I joined here in NIT, and I have been teaching third years and fourth years mainly since last year. So that's like my career graph. And there is a lot to say about higher studies, but I would like to answer your questions, like which are the main things about which you want to know, because obviously it's a very broad topic and we can go on for hours, but the things you want to know, the crowd which is present today, I would like to focus on that. So anybody can ask question.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing season. These valuable insights are life lessons for all of us. So now we may begin with the question answer session. I request all of our participants to put forward their questions in the chat box or kindly unmute yourself and ask one by one to ma'am. Ask your questions, guys.
I think Spandita Bhoishi wants to ask something. Yes, go ahead.
I was asking that what is the criteria to get admission in PhD apart from going to NET entrance for basic science students?
Can you please put your mic near your mouth? Actually, it's I'm having a hard time deciphering what you are asking. Yes.
Ma'am, I was asking what is the process to get admission in PhD apart from going through NET entrance examination for basic science students?
Oh, for basic science program. Okay. So actually, for you, you have couple of exams, right? That's like a standard process for you guys. Actually, this way, I would suggest that is much more easier rather than the other way, which you can say that, okay, going into research program and doing it from there. Why? I will tell you. I advise my students regarding this also. While you do masters and then proceed from there, actually in a lot of companies they ask, or even in universities, if you are going for a teaching job, they will ask whether you have qualified GATE or NET, or whether you have qualified GATE, NET, or JAM, like all these exams, any of these even, or not. So in that case also, it's useful. Then again, actually, in India, you have to get through these exams. But if you are applying outside, then like they also prefer, like if you are coming after masters, mainly for basic sciences. But also one thing is there. Mostly I suggest whoever does masters in India, there is a lot of exchange program, a lot, literally a lot. The fact remains that you have to search it, and most of the time what happens, like it, and no offense, but it mostly happens to good students. I don't know why. But it's like you are so engaged in your studies, you explore less. So I have seen a lot of students from different other universities, uh, I'm not saying that other universities are not good, but even with not a great grade point or experience, they go outside and they work. Whereas I myself knew a lot of students who were good and they could have. So to answer your question, I think you have a lot of options there. Which way you want to go, that depends on you. But in India, I would sincerely suggest you to get to the higher studies through exam, because it not only benefits you in choosing the right institute, but also in future applications.
Thank you.
Okay, I think there were some messages. So I will start reading from there itself. Wow. Okay. Which is better, PhD outside or in India? Okay. I think this is a dilemma or a question which comes to most scholars. To answer your question, actually, there is no precise answer for that. There are certain factors which affect and which decide like what happens next in your life. As you all might have realized by now, like if you know somebody who is doing PhD or if you are planning to do PhD, PhD is a life-turning event. It's a span of like 4 to 5 years. That's a very long commitment in itself. So previously, while we were studying, we had an idea, okay, if we go for doing PhD outside, then probably when we, like the scope of getting in NITs and IITs increases. By my experience, maybe I'm wrong, but I have seen that it's not the case. There are certain things which happen in both the cases, like when you are staying in India and when you are staying outside. The point remains that when you are in India, you are actually here inside the country. Mobility is the main issue, and you are not restricted. So whatever kind of, for example, exams come, interviews come, you can just go there and appear in it. But if you are doing PhD outside, then if you are trying to stay there outside, then that's a different issue. That's a life decision. You are going to explore the opportunities there. But if you are coming back to India, there actually you have to time it right so that you can go to different universities, present there, like invite lectures, or means at least get through GATE exam or NET exam if that is required for eligibility in the job interviews for returning back to India. Like there are so many things. So you have to time your trips right. I did the same mistake. I stayed outside for 2 years and after that I came. So there were a lot of things which were not available when I came back to India. And I had in my mind that I want to come back to India. I didn't want to stay outside, but I didn't have that proper plan. Nobody told me actually that this can happen. And the main restriction here, again, I would like to emphasize is that age limit. And for that reason, you have to plan it right. So three things can happen to you. You can do PhD here. You can go for exchange programs outside. You can do postdocs outside. Same thing. You have to, if you want, then again, if you go outside, the other thing, there is a bifurcation there. If you are trying to stay there, you explore the opportunities there. But if you are coming back, then you have to explore the options here also, keep the connections here also, so that there is somebody actually to tell you that while things are happening in India, they can tell you, okay, this interview is coming up, this exam is coming up, what is the date? The information can be shared. Even though internet is there, but I encourage my students to work in group so that they can share these information. Like the world outside is quite big. I mean, you cannot just think that you're competing your class or even the students in NIT, you are actually competing many people. So that's the case. Okay, so okay, the list is going. Okay, how to develop our, okay. How to develop our skills. Okay, so depends what your target is. That's like something which will affect, like what kind of skill sets you want. For example, in many cases, like I'm from food, so I would say in my case, many times I have seen that food industries prefer MTech students. Like and then again, among studies, sometimes they want a food microbiologist than a food engineer, because food microbiologist kind of they feel like, okay, there is no replacement that kind of position. But the thing that, okay, if we do not get a food engineer, we can have a chemical engineer. So that thing is there. So Possibly, depending on what kind of target you have, and then again, if you want to become a data analyst, so then you have to have some certification programs. If you want to do integrated law, means you want to join in IPR law, then you have to learn about you can join the law institutes where they offer programs on that simultaneously. And then again, actually among skill sets, I would say that learning computers is quite helpful in every single case, and statistics also helps, experimental design techniques, data analysis techniques. Like right now, I don't think there is any field which is untouched by analytics and data science. So that's a skill set I would definitely recommend for everybody. And then the next question, what is the importance of GATE? Okay. GATE has different kind of importance in different cases. For example, certain the undertakings in India, they want the candidate to have GATE. Then GATE gives you an opportunity to obviously learn higher, acquire higher studies in different institutes. There are many different institutes which look into that, right? And actually, you shouldn't be surprised. Means any of you shouldn't be surprised. For example, when you are going outside, you're giving GRE and TOEFL, right, for US, or else you are at least giving IELTS, and they have certain qualifications, they have certain numbers set for that. So actually, we don't look at the scenario like that, but there are exams there which you need to qualify to do anything right now. And the situation is like that, right? I heard that GRE has been waived, but I think English is a requirement, a basic requirement for them, because you have to write and communicate and these things. So that's required. So when you are talking about GATE, it makes you eligible for higher studies and then again certain jobs. And of course, if I think its validity is 2 years, right? 2 years or 3 years. So, depending if you want a better grade point and you want further do PhD also, then also GATE helps you. A GATE is an eligibility criteria in different programs where they want you to have GATE. So that is there. So job and higher studies, both I would say. So then, okay. Next is seeing the current scenario, what kind of business can be built from food processing in India or Odisha? Okay. By experience, I know that there is a lot going on technology transfer. And in Odisha itself, actually, we produce a lot of things for which we don't have machines through which we can process and they are being thrown. Suppose I think we don't have big dal mills, and it's like northern Odisha, if I'm correct. Northern or southern Odisha. It's not in this part, but the other section of Odisha where this problem is there. They're selling it to other states very cheap. It's like 5 rupees a kilo, I think, something like that, unprocessed. And there it is being processed and sold back to us, and we are buying it at such a high price, right? So depends. You have to actually dig in a more, and probably you will find more information. But through my connections, this is something I can say. We have a lot of herbs, we have dals, we have vegetables, and we are already supplying it to many different places. And some of our actually farmers are also like educated farmers, I would say that they have a business system. They are working on different kind of mushrooms, and there is somebody actually I think who is working on flowers also for international trade and all. So there's a lot of scope there. It's just you have to figure out which portion will be good. This part is quite good, Western Odisha. And then Korafut, it has a very good land, and that's the portion where a lot can be done as well. So yeah, you have to explore a bit more. Where do you grade experience? If someone wants to join PhD from Masters, how does experience look? Okay. Experience. Actually, In India, we do have like during applications, I used to see that it would be written if you have an academic experience like 3 years of postdoc, even in most reputed institutes, and equivalent, I think 5 years of industrial experience was there. So that value is given after PhD. That's what was asked. And in other countries, actually, I have seen people joining as faculties after working in industry for 15 years because they bring in that practical knowledge and which helps the students quite a lot. So it actually, Pradyush, right? It actually depends on the geography where you are located, depends on the country and depends on the kind of job, like which area in the world you want to do. Because I had a colleague who was working in Oman for a particular period of time. He was quite senior than us. And after that, he had completed masters, and then he came back to McGill to do his PhD. And he was sorry, masters. Yeah, masters. After BTech, that means he did job, and then he came for masters, and then he simultaneously did PhD under the same professor. So yeah, there is scope there. It's not like if you are doing job, you cannot come back. I have actually seen quite a lot of people doing that. If you are not projecting yourself 10 years from now in the industry job and want to join academia, a lot of people get the experience and they come back and they do many different very good things. I have a friend who was working with the NGO, and then he worked with actually UN. That's where he did his master's and PhD projects, which were with UN, and he's quite nicely settled in Canada right now. So a lot is there. As with experience, you can do a lot. So, okay, what is to access a particular university while applying for research-based program? It's just university ranking that matters. Oh, this is a very good question. Partha Mishra. Okay, he has dug coal. I think this is something which all of you have in the back of your head, but sometimes you don't get the right words. Like I didn't have. That's why I'm projecting it on you, maybe. Uh, actually, a lot of programs are there for which it's not that you top 100 university have the best program. Okay, that's not the case. So if you are doing physics, then Germany has a very good program, and in US there are certain universities which are having a very good program, but they are not Ivy League. Okay, so you have to actually focus on what you want to do, what is the direction of career you want to choose, and based on that you have to look into the universities. Like rather than searching for best universities in the world, search for best university in this field. Okay, biosciences or particle physics, or don't go micromanaging, but go for broad terms like the specialties and search in there what comes in. And of course, it's not the, I wouldn't say that it's a valid criteria, because when you do a job, the people who are in that field recognize the good universities. It's not only when you say Harvard they will understand, but they will know the good universities which are not in top 10, but they are good ones. So it depends on which field you want to choose. Concentrate in that way, I would suggest. Okay, yeah, I think that's the main factor. Is it necessary that we have to do masters after BTech for better results in our startup? No, not at all. I wouldn't say so. If you do a program, if you're doing MTech in a program which is actually giving you the skill set, that's well and good. Otherwise, there are a lot of training sessions which you can do and gain much more. Like there are a lot of postgraduate programs which you can do even side by. That's there. Actually, I met once a person So there were two brothers and they had a farm. So, okay, as because I'm agriculture engineer, most of my explanations might be associated with that. But just give your imagination some wings and imagine that, okay, this is just an example. But what I'm trying to say is that he said that they had a farm. So they were both managing. So he went to do a degree, BTech degree, and his brother had been managing the farm since. So actually his brother had the practical experience and this guy had the scientific knowledge. So they combined it and used it together. When you are doing a startup, actually, it has a lot of its own challenges. So you would, like masters might give you the skill set to work in a particular program, but startup will force you to actually diversify and learn a lot of things quite quickly. So one thing I would say is that you need a solid program, and probably if you are lucky enough and try enough, and maybe a good team to work with you. I don't think degrees matter when you are doing startup. Most of the businesses you will see that the CEO is not the most educated person, but they are wise enough to associate themselves or surround themselves with smart people. So I think that's what matters when you are having a business or a startup. Okay. Wow. Ma'am, how can we enter import-export sector between states, relevant food commodities? Okay. By now, I think that you guys have thought I can answer everything. But I wouldn't say that I'm the best person to say that. But one thing I would say that I have certain connections. I would suggest that having some connections would definitely help you. And some people are actually working in this part, like on this point, like import, export between states and relevant food commodities and all these things. Networking will help you. And one thing you will have to see that what is produced most in the part which you are concentrating on, where you want to set up your business, and which are the different parts which will actually take your commodity from you. So you have to make those kind of connections. And entering into a market when there are already established people there, it will, but I think it's doable because I have seen many people doing it. So to start with, I would say that commodity decision along with that networking, that will be really helpful. So that's what I would say. It's a good question, Atul, but I think I'm not the right person to answer it absolutely like 100%. But I would say that with the good networking, just figure it out. I think the internet is fabulous right now, right? With LinkedIn and all. So I would say that search for the right people who are already in the game. Probably work with them, learn the different concepts of the trade, and then implement it yourself in a much, much better way. That's what I would say. Okay. Um, Ma'am, I have general doubt as it has been mentioned that you did your PGP in data science. You did this as you want to use data science as a tool in research and you're interested in database. Yes, yes, yeah. Yes, yeah, that's what I did. Oh, I think what I'm trying, like I decipher that you want to know what was the point of me doing it. What inspired me is like when I was trying for jobs, I was actually looking at profiles worldwide. So there were some food programs where I saw actually they want somebody from who knows data science and machine learning. So I said, okay, that means this is a valuable skill set. And then I looked into it a bit more, and I realized that it's like it has been extensively applied in different fields, mainly business and like already in agriculture, and to basically decide the supply and demand and which way the market will be, weather statistics, everything. So I said, okay, I like research and I like stats, and of course, I think I can find a niche for this in the food engineering part. And The main thing which struck me and inspired me to actually learn this, apart from that it was a part of job requirement, is that I realized that there is so much of data right now in any kind of research and any kind of field that rather than wasting money and resources, we should look into the data which has been gathered by other researchers and everybody else, so that we can synchronize it and figure out like what we should do, which is actually novel, and like not repeat the same mistakes, like spending time and labor and all these things just to add a little bit to the research. But most of the time for continued research, actually a little bit contribution is valuable. That no doubt about that, because I do not feel that there is any kind of research which is invaluable. But you must have realized, if somebody is doing research, that most of the time positive research gets more highlighted. So, but we need data all kinds, negative as well as positive. I think that you can use negative data also, you can use in data science, which doesn't get out in the research publications that much, because nobody wants to focus on negative stuff. So I think that part data science can really help. So
Not audible.
yes, I muted myself. I just realized. Okay. So, yes, Piyush, we can definitely earn money, but it depends whether your university allows it or not. That's the first thing. I will talk about Indian scenarios, and then we can talk about foreign scenario, where it's not exactly known as MTech, rather it's a master's program, right? So in India, there are a lot of remote jobs right now, which have, like, maybe I was looking at all kind of different options, long distance options. So I think I have explored it quite a lot. There is a lot of data analysis part which is being outsourced right now, and a lot of editing, writing skills. That is also being means it's also being quite a lot outsourced. So there are platforms where you can actually find different kind of money making systems, or you can say that advertisements, job profiles, which you can definitely fit in and do. But one thing which I have seen helps a lot, that like practicing right English and knowing computer science, or a little bit of programming even, because when you do it, you become better at both these skills, English writing, or if you are saying programming, other than the people who are actually learning it, who's basically the trade is that, others actually we learn by doing it. Means that's probably the only way we can learn, and there's not enough time in a day, but we can definitely try. And those are some fields where actually you will find quite a lot of long distance jobs outside masters. Actually, in Canada there is a special visa, which you can do two kinds of job. You can either do inside the university. There are a couple of jobs like invigilations, library duties, and yeah, I think these, yeah, and research assistant jobs, which get regularly advertised, and you can definitely apply for those. Or else you can actually apply for off-campus jobs. So there you get a special uh, study permit, like it's a I'm being muted again and again. But sorry for that. I just don't see, I'm not pressing anything, but yeah, it's happening. Anyways, so outside, the other thing is that you can do off-campus jobs. For that, there is a special visa which you have to apply. And with that, I'm talking about Canada. I think other countries have the same kind of facility. You will have to also check with the university whether they allow you or not. So those are a couple of things which you will have to look into. And master's program point? No, actually. The master's program, age is not a big factor, I would say. But what happens is like if there's a very big gap between the last research you did and like your master's application, like if 10, 15 years of gap is there. So I don't know. I think at the back of the mind, it might affect in some ways, but you wouldn't see upfront anybody saying that, oh no, we will not take you because you are experienced in some other case. For masters, actually, it's not a big deal generally. You can definitely join after a gap. You should actually sometimes for master's program or any kind of jobs, they will maybe do some interviews in certain cases, not everywhere. And they will look at your GRE, TOEFL, or IELTS marks and your grade points. If you qualify everything, it should be fine. But the way the grades are, it gets different, right? Like, for example, for us, 9 point was a huge deal. And for you guys, above 9 point is now like normal. No offense there. It's a good achievement, but yeah, things change, right? I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Like that kind of hurdle comes, but definitely there is no other problem there. In case of actually MBAs, they want you to be experienced. That's another thing you should know. Like after a job, you can apply for, like you can appear for GMAT. So that is there as well. Like there's quite a lot of options. Ma'am, have you any idea about share market? Please explain it. Share market. I mean, do you want to be an investor or what is the question there? Don't know. Nah, honestly speaking, I don't have any idea. I mean, from a data science point of view, I can say that a lot of people are using data science to predict how the market will fluctuate or how performance will be there for different companies. Prediction, basically. That's like data science has that aspect, like that's one of the applications that I can say. But as such about share market, no idea. If you're talking about investment or getting something out of it, no idea. That part I don't know. But yeah, data science is used in that I can definitely tell you. Is taking a drop after graduation a good choice to prepare for MSc entrance or just do MSc from local college? Actually, a lot of people prepare after BTech for appearing in GATE and all these exams. So I don't think it's unwise to take a break. But obviously, it deducts 1 year from your career. But if you're getting into good college, I think it's worth it. Rather, I would say that you can join a research position somewhere, like CSIR advertises a lot where BTechs are employed for different research positions. And in like why I'm suggesting research position, the reason behind is that when you are in an environment where research and study is going on, it's quite conducive as compared to sitting in an apartment and preparing only with a bunch of other people. Rather do it both, like do both the things. Do the research and apply for, like prepare for GATE or MSc or anything. But yes, of course, you can take a drop. But doing research simultaneously, I think will help in career-wise also. Okay, should we apply for industrial jobs after MTech or go for PhD? Basically, what are the scopes of government jobs in food sector? There is a lot of scope for government jobs after MTech in food sector. But here's the thing, you have to qualify certain exams. So exam is an exam, and there you have to qualify certain, like you have to actually attain certain how to say base points to get into the jobs, right? So that's there, but and the timing is something actually which matters a lot. I mean, when you are graduating, if the jobs are available, you get absorbed. And when I graduated from MTech, it was in 2009, there was a recession going on, and I kept on applying, but there wasn't much response. So, but the scenario has changed quite a lot. Government jobs are available there for the food sector. You just have to inquire about like what kind of skill sets they want and prepare accordingly. And most of the time, what happens is like what people generally do, I would say, they join PhD at a reputed university. So there is no discontinuation. And they apply for different government jobs through like um, agricultural research services is there, and other programs are also there. And what happens is like once you have completed certain requirements of the PhD program, probably you can come back and complete it. And you have the doctorate degree along with that, you are doing the job. Means like within the same period of time, you will do both. So it might be a bonus there. You know what I mean? If you want to change jobs sometime in future, so that option will be available there. But definitely government jobs are there in the food sector. You just have to look at what kind of different requirements are there for those particular jobs. Then if someone wants to research in want to research internship in the field of technology during BTech, then what are the opportunities? Technology means, do you mean biotechnology? The opportunities and how one can apply, what skill is required for that? I'm guessing it's biotechnology, I think. I'm just going with the flow and just imagining it to be biotechnology, I think. Okay, so research internships are there. Mainly if you like, there are certain subjects, for example, biotechnology and basic sciences even, during the bachelor's degree itself. If you want to do research internship, I would suggest go to CSIR institutes. They are very good in that. And like apart from your own lab, I mean, NIT has a good facility, IITs have a good facility. And CSIR, I like that part that they are, as because they are mainly focused. And I can also suggest Isro and like IITs, Isro, CSIR, NITs, and ISER. ISER is for basic sciences as well. Biotechnology also, I think that option will be there. And what else is there? ICAR. So, like, because ICAR, though you say, okay, it's agriculture, but they have a very good biotechnology facility and focus on the facilities which are like for research. Means there you get good exposure. You will have all different kind of machines available on which you can work. I was in two CSIR institute. I can actually assure you that they had very good facility. Like I have worked in now NIT, IIT also, outside also. Like our research institutes in India, whatever I listed, they are pretty good facilitated in terms of machines. And there are quite a lot of private universities also, but you will have to explore about that. But for government institutes, I can say that all these places where research is being done, they're quite good. So, okay, moving on. Ma'am, after my 10th, I did my diploma and VTech from COEP Pune and took 4 years gap and then got myself into BSc Physics honors program in final year. Now I'm almost 30 and planning for masters in electronics and electrical. Wanted to know how can I choose a good college or university? Does age play any inconvenience for getting admission in good jobs or because of the master program? 30 is not limiting, I would say, but the more important point will be whether you want to do it in India or outside. Outside, you will have no limitations at all. I mean, that's honestly speaking. And like you have quite a good experience, I would say, because diploma with degree, from my experience, I can say that you guys know quite a lot, like basic stuffs and advanced stuffs and everything, because you study it quite in detail. And then you have moved on to physics. So I imagine that your hands-on experience as such will be quite a lot. So that skill set, like age, let me just mention some basic, not basic, I mean say other some age limits for different like age groups probably, or age limits which you should keep in mind. Many of the jobs get restricted after 32, and after that 35 is like for teaching jobs and all. 35, 37 is kind of borderline. So I would actually suggest you to try outside. You might actually like it. Means that's what I want to say, because you have quite a lot of experience. So that would definitely be helpful. You can come back at some point of time. That's fine as well, when you're quite experienced and all. And your experience in all these fields, that will be really helpful. That, like, you have to know how to cash your experience. I would say that join a good university, apply somewhere where it is valued, and then come back. And like, you have quite an experience, you can apply it in different ways. So that's there.
And how to choose the universities, ma'am? Like if I want to apply over there, like
Well, you have currently, in which field do you want to go? BSc Physics. After that, do you want to do MSc Physics? That might
MS.
be a
Uh, yeah, just I want to like pursue for electronics or communications or space engineering after BSc. Like there are some colleges who are offering those things, but like I have given in the resume and the mailing letters also that I have done so and so, and after that I took a break for 4 years and then took admissions for my BS in physics, which right now I'm in final year. So I didn't got the proper answers from there because what I'm scared is about my age, which is right now approximately I would be turning 30 in this November. And
where did
like
you apply exactly, Mahindra? If you don't
yes,
mind me asking,
yes, ma'am.
like where did you apply? Which universities did you apply?
For University of Surrey.
University of Surrey. I don't think they look at these things actually, but it depends like which program you want to apply. You have to justify your position for that. And the one thing which they might look into is your marks. Like marks and what are the other different kind of projects which you have done, which will be relevant for their project, for the program, that they might look into. But I do not think that age will be a factor. And then again, don't stay limited to one college, two college, three college. That's a general suggestion to everybody. When you are targeting to do higher studies, apply until you get. That is the only strategy. Like, you wouldn't believe how I got into McGill. I was sending, and all of a sudden, my professor's email went into spam. I got into the habit because of that random experience around that time that things were getting hacked and this and that. So I used to check my spam. I saw her email and I was just over the moon. Immediately, I mentioned there. I think I slept on that night at 4 o'clock, but I was by 4 o'clock. I was sure that I was going to McGill. Apply until you get. Okay. And write a solid resume. Support your application with the skill sets, what is appropriate for that particular program, for that particular lab, for that particular professor, and approach with that. Definitely, you need one position. Always remember that you need one job, you need one position to move forward. You will definitely get there, but you cannot give up in the middle of it. You never know what's the end of it. Means if you really want it, sometimes yeah, things don't go in our way, but most of the time it's not a problem. I don't think so. So yeah, that I would say. After BTech, what is the skill that is needed for? Mostly, I have seen that you up okay, the question is, ma'am, how can we get off-campus placement after BTech? What is the skills that is needed for placement? Okay, so it depends what kind of job you want, and already what kind of skill sets you have. So target a company look into, or rather not a company, the companies in which you would like to work, look at the resumes of the people, what kind of things, different skill sets they have acquired. Build up that skill set during your BTech, I would say, in the fourth year or in the start from third year. Many of the students don't give GATE in third year. That's not a good strategy. I would say that as you are eligible to give your GATE in the third year, give the exam in third year so that you will at least know if you know everything what comes in the exam or what kind of preparation you need. I qualified in my third year. I'm not bragging about it, but I got it. I mean, and my fourth year was definitely much easier than many others. I was thinking about other skill sets which I could acquire. And it's not that I got it like I thought, okay, I have to get it, and I got it. Just sat in the exam, and I did what I knew. I believe that many of you can qualify with that and move forward with that. So keep that option with you. If you can, as you're eligible to give in the third year, give your exams in third year. If you don't want to do MTech also, at least you will know that, okay, next when I'm doing in fourth year, that dilemma will not be there. Or else you will know, okay, what I know, what I don't know, and you will develop your skill sets. You develop those portions of the course for which you are applying for the MTech, and then do the exam better next year. So for that, it will definitely help you. Along with that, third year and fourth year, focus on the skill sets, keeping in mind in the companies in which you want to apply. Develop them, and then apply, keep on applying, keep a track of the different kind of employees who are working there, what are the job profiles, what are they doing. According to that, develop your skill sets, because for every single job, or we cannot normalize that you do this, and then you will get into several different companies. Maybe some different companies, but not all of them, right? So first, like, it depends on the company's requirement, that you have to understand. So you have to develop skill sets according to the job profiles for which you are applying. And ma'am, in present, I'm quite fascinated about ML and robotics. Want to pursue further in this, but as I'm from a non-CS branch and also non-core branch in NIT here, can I do my master's higher studies ML? Yes, of course you can. I know a person who was doing in mechanical. No, it will not be a hindrance. I just wanted to read your question completely. It will not be a hindrance. I know a person who was in mechanics, another person working in different field, and they are both working on data analysis MI right now. Not exactly robotics, but data analysis and MI, ML, sorry, ML. I'm combining AI and ML right now. No, ML and data analysis. So what would be the point for you? Do the certification courses, join hackathons, and apply for the universities where they are taking in the data analytics. Do you want to do higher studies? Oh, yeah, higher studies is there. Yes. So Europe is a good place. There are many different universities where you can apply. Just probably they have some prerequisite skill sets which you need to apply for their master's program. Look into the universities which are providing it. I think Germany has good programs, and Norway probably has good programs, but Germany has good programs for sure. I know that. So you have to look into that and look at the profiles of different students, what they have done. But this is not a hindrance for you. Qualify for different, get certification courses and look at the different requirements and prepare accordingly. You can definitely get into that. It's not a problem. Is data science a part of artificial intelligence? Data science is actually used to apply in artificial intelligence. What is the difference between supervised? What are the different? Oh my God, it's all the questions together. Okay, so these terms actually come together. Generally, you would say data science, data mining, and then artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? So You can say that data science, probably data science, not probably, actually data science is a combination of different kind of, like it's an interdisciplinary field, right? So it involves algorithms, systems to extract knowledge or insights from the data in various forms. And sometimes they are structured and sometimes they are like unstructured. Okay, so it's deemed similar to data mining, but you can say that data science encompasses data mining in a lot of ways. So artificial intelligence uses data science along with ML, machine learning, to take decisions. Artificial intelligence, probably many of you know that it's something which is like the way of thinking of the machines and the algorithms. They are made similar to the humans, right? That's how, like, it mimics and replicates human intelligence. That's like the purpose of it, right? And unsupervised learning and supervised learning, these are the parts of machine learning, which is generally like it's like it provides, machine learning provides systems the ability to learn and improve the experience, like the different kind of analysis which are being done by machines, like without being explicitly programmed. So unstructured and structured learning, what happens, like, sorry, unsupervised and supervised learning, what happens? In case of unsupervised learning, for example, you have a lot of data. From that, you can take some, like do some kind of analysis and realize whether they belong to a certain group. You can classify those data. You can find some associations between them. So that you can do with unsupervised learning, which is a part of machine learning. And then through supervised learning, which uses like different like models and uses the data to further analyze and then predict and prescribe. So these are like two segments of ML. Honestly, I would say that it's like quite interrelated, data science and machine learning. You use data visualization, data preparation, like you have a set of data, and then what are the different segments, if we say, then you're collecting it from different sources, like you have visual source, you have audio source, you have written sources, different kind of data, different numbers probably. If, for example, if you are talking about mm, population, okay, and we want to determine if there are certain specific diseases happening or not. So there are different sources, like there are hospitals, there are family data, like people can go, like you can have surveys and ask people if they have a certain kind of health condition among them or not. So all these processes will collect data for you. Then actually you store them in a certain way. And then you have to further arrange them, order them, right? Analyze them further, and then probably present them into tables or figures, which will give you certain information. So that's like uses different techniques there. And that's what data science does. Machine learning provides you a lot of different algorithms, which helps you in attaining certain knowledge, right? And together, the data science techniques and machine learning techniques, they lead to artificial intelligence. Like you take actions which are taken during using artificial intelligence. They are a combination of insights which are obtained from data science and predictions which are done using different algorithms from ML. I think what I'm trying to say that all these topics are quite vast and they are interrelated. I don't know, just me saying for all these sentences and topics together whether it was clear or not, but basically it's data which you have to analyze using different algorithms and methods, and based on that you have to develop models and prepare different kind of how to say uh, yeah, like based on this, you have to develop algorithms which can replicate human intelligence, and that would lead to AI. So basically, it's about data, the volume of data which is available right now. We are trying to use it to have good information out of that. And these are the different methods to which we can do it. Okay. Converting marine waste into biofuel. Okay, so biofuel from marine waste, any kind of actually material, if you say not only marine waste, the purification part, for example, it can be derived from, like I'm talking about this question from what are the problems researchers have to face in converting marine waste from marine waste into biofuel. So in that case, the purification, like we cannot convert the entire waste into biofuel, right? So we have to separate it into different portions, rather I would say. You can basically what has been done is like the oil which is extracted from this material that has been converted to biodiesel. That has been done. And then the wastewater which is produced from these resources, that has been used as a nutrient source for microorganisms which actually accumulate oil, and oil has been extracted from that and then converted to biodiesel. These are certain things which have been done. Or bioethanol also, you can say that option is also there. So, okay, I'm moving on to next question. Ma'am, as you said that nowadays every field has a certain relation with the data science and programming. Is it possible and should we strive to find a way to actually know how our branch specifically relates to such field? Where we will use data science to predict, say, the properties of materials or predict mineral methods that reduces the trial and error methods that we will use. Okay. The gist of this question, I believe, is that should you explore data science to actually use in research? That's what I believe. Yes, you can. Actually, the databases which are available to us, they are the sources for different kind of information. For example, Science Direct has its own platform and Wiley has its own. So all these resources, you can actually look at different kinds of information, like whether a property, suppose you're talking about a property of a material. So you can look at how many research publications have been done in past time. And from there you start and you look at only those publications who have concentrated on that particular property of that particular material. And from there itself, like, of course, the amount of error will decrease. And these databases, what they do, I have realized that it depends on your searches as well, like what you are searching. For example, Google Scholar. You might have seen that when you are searching today something for an information, you might not get it. 5 days later, you will have a latest publication which might be concentrated on the particular topic which you were searching 5 days back, because it keeps remembering and refining your search in the backside. So that's how, like, this is actually a version of how to say machine learning and AI, like where they are actually refining the process, and providing you with the information with time. So what happens is like when you are using databases, there itself, you get the first hit, which has the most amount of information which you actually want. And as you scroll down, the amount of information decreases in the respective articles which are down there. So that's like an example. Okay. Then again, what you can do is like you can look at different research papers and collect the data from there, and then use data science modeling and those algorithms to look into the data which is already available, and based on that actually decide your objectives. Like and from data itself, probably you might predict whether your research in that direction will be actually successful, or how much successful, if successful, or if you're searching for something, it's already there, that information, or even if it is worth researching. That also you can actually collect using data science. I hope I answered your question. So of course it is worth it, and it's a good skill set to have. Ma'am, research profile after BTech. How should I approach professors of IITs to work under them to improve my research profile? As I'm not going for MTech or MS right now. Actually, what happens is, like, most of the professors, they advertise for different positions. And after BTech, uh, like in research institutes, CSIR and all, I have seen. But in IITs, actually, mainly in the labs, I haven't seen that, like them advertising any position which is for this thing. But just look at the internship. Probably through that you can get into, or if they have a short project like 6 months project, or an industrial project. So when the advertisement comes, you have to keep a track of that, and according to that apply. But the like generally the chances are a bit low, but you have to like search a bit more. If that opportunity comes, then definitely apply. If you're asking the question that whether you should email somebody and approach them, go with it. Like, at least when that kind of project comes up, they will have you in their mind that you would like to work with them and all these things. And if they open up a position which doesn't need gate or net or anything, they will think of you, and maybe probably when they advertise, then you get the notification and you can apply for that position. So that option is there. But the like, if you want to approach them, just go ahead. There's no problem. Search for projects in which the minimum requirement is BTech and not more than that. That is definitely another strategy. And through that also, you can definitely apply for research positions in universities. So that option is there. Okay. Ma'am, my branch is information technology. Can I sit in any company for interview? In off-campus placements, college matters or not? Off-campus placements, I don't think college matters. No, they have a common exam for you to qualify, and they will call you for interview. I don't know what they might do in interview if somebody has a mindset that they want something of this type. But probably, how much ever I know, they look at your skill sets. So they don't exactly look at your college there when it is an off campus. For example, when TCS is hiring or Infosys is hiring, and they are having that common exam in which you appear, and then you're going there and writing down the exam and then appearing for it. It's not the case that you will not get based on your college. No, that's not a very big deal. As long as you perform good, I don't think they mind which college. Yeah, of course, they will look at your marks, but college, no, I don't think so. Does ISRO take only aerospace engineers or others also for its space department? I know that they have different programs. So the space department, like DRDO has food department, like well, they are researching different kind of food materials and probably microorganisms and other things. ISRO, you will have to look into that if they have like a department for other things. I don't think it's only aerospace. What about civil engineers? If they need somebody working on that, of course they will hire civil engineers, right? But I don't think I'm the best person to answer this. You have to look into this on internet, look at the profiles of different departments which are there. And from there, I guess you can get the information. Because I think other than aerospace, of course, there is a lot of other job in ISRO, right? It's not only limited to going to space only. Like, of course, its main focus is that, but you need other things also going on simultaneously, other than building rockets and all, right? So just look into their profile. You might find more there. But I guess they must be, because like other kind of government institutes which are not focused on mainstream jobs, they have subsidiary departments. Like DRDO has food, so I think they must have other things also, right? So similarly, ISRO might have that as well, because of course, if we are trying to build something on in the outer space, we need civil engineers, and if we are working on electronics, then we need electronics engineers, right? So, but you have to definitely make sure. I'm just saying it. It's a possibility that they must be hiring other people. Oh, the questions ended. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm at 5:45. So anybody else wants to know anything? If you think that I can answer.
Uh, so, ma'am, it's grateful. We are grateful to you, ma'am, and we finally thank you to you for giving such insights on our doubts and indeed a lot of questions which were hindering in our way of higher studies. We may clear, and I hope Team Inspire this season has been able to provide a better vision for our choice in higher studies and jobs. At last, we thank you from all of our inspired side and other students for turning in and being present throughout. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I hope it was useful for all of you.
Yes, ma'am. It is very useful for us.
She is my student, so I'm expecting her to say that.
It's okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Thanks a
So
lot.
hopefully you got some insight into applications and all, but of course, 1 hour is not enough. So if you ever need help or recommendation, you can definitely email me. I have like my students have it, and it's on my profile as well. So you're always welcome to ask me anything. No problem there.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Take care, all of you.
You too, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Ma'am.